Alrighty, welcome guys, long time no see. Hope everyone's doing well. Quick update for what's currently happening, where I've been, what I'm thinking of doing. Is a lot's happened, a lot's come together, a lot's been thought about. So I thought I'd give you guys a small update on what's happening, where things are going, and what's going to happen in the future. So we'll start off with the current situation. So basically, from when I left off, we've been basically just doing Mephisto, getting some gears. We got a ton of gears, and after Mephisto, we kind of work our way up slowly. So we went to Diablo, and then from Diablo we go to like a Bale, but not kill Bale, just do like XP runs up until his waves. Um, so yeah, and then it's just been back and forth, mixing it up between if we get bored and whatnot. I'll do a quick we'll do a look at our so we are currently now level 72. Um, as you can see the stats here. So you'll see the gears soon as well. Our caps. This is nightmare for now. Um, maybe hell would have been the better thing for now, but it's whatever. So as the stats are here, so we're level 72. Um, that's that inventory. So we've got a whole bunch of new gear for the most part. I think this one's Raven Scratch. It's not bad. We've got this one. We've got Laying of Hands, increased attack speed, a lot of damage against demons. I think this is going to be great against like single target bosses and whatnot. So this is pretty big, I think. Our rings are still garbage. Our rings are still pretty garbage. Hopefully, we're still trying to get upgraded. Haven't got anything. We have Night Smoke now, which is pretty huge. All res 10, damage goes to mana. This is nice. We've got gold skin now. This is pretty good. This is really good in that it's like our next best thing for. We're still trying to get smoke. By the way, we still haven't got like a good base for smoke, but this is like budget smoke. But still pretty good though. The all res. We're just missing 15 all res basically compared to smoke. We've got Sazabi's mental sheath, which is really nice. +1 to all skills, lightning, fire res. Amulet, which is pretty meh. I mean, some nice resistances. Plus, actually, no, it's got +1 to assassin skills. I think it could be a little bit better, but I think it's really good. We swapped this over for the Eye of it, which I think we still have that in the stash. Raven Spiral, which is very meh ring, as you can see. Hailstone Barb. I think this is the same as before, I don't know. And we got these boots, which are some nice resistances. So some small little upgrades throughout our grinds, for our little grinding session, but nothing too crazy. On the second slot, we've got it's the second set of weapons in case it's a backup weapons, die song, nothing. I think we had this from before. We did get this though, Moses Blessed Circle, which I added an additional 2 perfect or flawless. I can't whatever the highest gem is for all res. So it's like all res out of its mind. So this is like really defensive if we want to like play it safe for some bosses. Maybe we got this as like a secondary option, which is nice. We also swapped our follower to Azrael, because we want to go a bit more defensive. We want something a bit more sustainable. He still dies, but we got I got Battle Branch on him, which is what you. I mean, because I was told that you want increased attack speed and you want lifesteal. This weapon's got both of those, but it's just not the best. So I've been trying to get a nice base for insight, which apparently is the way to go. So we're working on that, but that's what it is for now. Spirit Forge, which is quite nice. It's got 2 empty sockets. We can do something with. We have some options here, but I'm not too sure. I haven't really looked into what like a good best in slot is for mercenary chest for vanilla. And then we've just got a normal circlet, which is it's just standard yellow circles. It's pretty hard getting something good for this guy, but it's like the best I have. I've found for this guy. What else? Inventory we checked. Whoops, sorry. Skill tree is basically nothing crazy. Oh, actually, hold on. So I was suggested to check out the Dragon Claw. Apparently, it's really powerful. So I put some points in Tiger Strike. It's pretty because I'm gonna reset anyways, right? So I'm like I might as well experiment before my last reset. So Tiger Strike I quite like. We might end up using this in the final build. I do like that increased damage, just straight up increased damage, and Dragon Claws further like a deposit for that extra damage. So very potential that we might go into these for like their main build. This is all the same. Well, we'll get into the talents further later on, when we talk about new build ideas, because I am having some new build ideas. We're going to go through those. I think that's basically it. Yes, that's that, and we're being like so. The hell mode has been slapping us. I can't like Den of Evil has been a struggle. So this is which is why we're starting to like go into this prepared and planning and organizing and actually going to work towards building a build like something where we can actually aim towards for every single little item, for requirements, stats, everything. We're going to think it through and establish something, and then once we have that all planned out outside of the game, we're going to come into the game and just work towards that and try to get through hell. Because hell, in like compared to Diablo One especially, it skyrocketed. Like Diablo One, hell was pretty like it's pretty doable, but Diablo Two, it's a different ball game entirely. It's very hard to get through, at least for me. I'm struggling, so I want to go into this prepared because otherwise it's going to take way too long trying to get through hell at the pace I'm currently going at. What else was there? Introduction. I can cross that one out. Yeah, so I was on YouTube the other day, right? I was going through some assassin builds. I'm like, okay, we could probably need to start looking at some builds at this point because I got the feeling that maybe Diablo 2 had that Path of Exile kind of requirement where it's like unless you follow a build, you're not gonna get anywhere. So I'm like, you know what? I'll start looking at some builds, and all I saw was just traps in, traps in, traps in, traps in, traps in, kicks in, traps in, traps in, traps in, lightning sentry trap, fire sentry trap, traps in, traps in, traps in, traps in. It was just Trap City. It was just Trap City, and I'm like, man, I don't want to play a traps. I don't want to play a trap-based assassin. That's not assassin to me. That doesn't scream at assassin to me. That's not fun. That's not exciting. That doesn't fantasy-wise. It just doesn't do it for me, right? But that's all I saw. I went through like pages and pages, and I was scrolling through YouTube, and every single build, it was just traps in, or lightning sentry, or kicks in, or just none of the things that excite me, right? Because I'm more about the stealthy assassin in the shadows. Probably uses a dagger, probably uses claw weapons. Like I don't know. I'll get into that as well further on. But I was going through, and I just like nothing excited me. Nothing looked interesting to farm. Nothing was just doing it for me. So I'm like, you know what? I thought to myself, why don't I make my own build? Do I dare be audacious enough to make my own build? It's my first time playing the game. Compared to, I mean, if anyone's got the audacity to think of making a build, it's probably someone, like the veterans, right? They've been playing for like 15, 20 years. Like maybe those guys can say, hey, I want to make a build. So I'm like, you know what? Stuff all these builds, stuff everything I'm seeing online. Stuff this trap meta, like everyone's going for like whatever's the strongest meta thing, right? I'm like, you know what? I'll make my own build, but not by myself. I'm like, because we've got a few people that come in here in the Twitch, in Discord, on Reddit as well. Like, why don't we make it together? Um, and it could be like an enjoyable process as well, like with theory crafting, with putting items together. Um, there's a website that I thought that was really cool. We can put stuff in, and just theory craft, see what items work, see what abilities work. Like I'm very new to the game. There's a lot I don't know, which is why I need my hands held for the most part, so people can be like, yeah, no, don't do this, yeah, no, do that. Like what works, what doesn't work, what synergizes well, what's strong in the game, what's not. Like there's a lot I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. So I definitely need help on that regard, but I'm definitely thinking let's just do my own build. Because that way at least it's something I'm gonna like, it's something I'm gonna enjoy. The process might be fun, getting excited about these little synergies and whatnot. And furthermore, it's a challenge because I'm gonna focus shadow disciplines, right? Like that's gonna be like it's gonna be a shadow assassin build. That's the primary focus of the build. It's not gonna be traps and it's not gonna be martial arts. It's gonna be yeah, that's right. Like you guys are probably like freaking out, like, what do you mean, man? Shadow assassin? That's just not possible. It's never been done in the history of Diablo 2. We've been playing traps and martial arts for 20 years. What are you doing? You know what I mean? That's probably what you're thinking right now. I know, crazy idea, but I have to. I want to. I have to. It's and it's just we're gonna make it work. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be fun. Maybe it's gonna fail. I don't think so. As long as it's well thought out, I think it should be. As long as it gets me to bail on hell, at a reasonable, manageable rate, like where I'm not getting slapped or it's like taking way too long. As long as it's manageable and I can finish the game, it's good enough for me. It doesn't have to be crazy like one shot or 10 shot or I'm just like walking through the screen, killing everything without even moving. It doesn't have to be crazy as long as it's like a nice, decent, sustainable rate and it's manageable. And I'm not sweating every 2 seconds trying to stay alive or anything like that. As long as it's kind of smooth, I'll take it. I'll take it. But it's going to be more. It's a combination of fantasy, so the kind of like my fantasy of an assassin, combined with some practicality, and hopefully it's going to work out. Hopefully it's going to work out. Sorry, yeah, and obviously community help. Anyone from Discord, Twitch, all over the internet. Everyone's welcome to come put the input. And if you're watching this, please by all means, you're welcome to come to Discord and give us your 2 cents, what you think is great, what you think is not so great, and help put this thing together to an absolute T. Yeah, so I found this website. I can't remember what it was called, but you basically go in, you put like your items in, it gives you all the it gives you everything. I'm gonna link that in Discord so we can update it as we go. Well, I was gonna do it on stream, but luckily there's no one really here right now. So I can't really compare or ask any. I might just put something together and then chuck it in the Discord, and then just a whatever, like what I think is cool, or and then we could just to have like a start, have a base, and to go from there. Um, yeah, like we're doing it during Diablo gameplay as well as on Discord through over time. So it's not going to be something that's been done overnight. It's going to be a long term, depending on I don't know how because the game is pretty intricate. There's a lot going on, so it might be quick, it might be long. I don't know, but something over time, something to do over time. And that's part of like the Diablo funness as well, is kind of building, right? It's like the next level of enjoyment in regards to the game. Okay, so like my philosophy on what an assassin is. All right, my philosophy on what an assassin. For me, an assassin is someone who's agile, nimble, either uses daggers or in this case claw weapons. In the shadows, has shadow-based abilities, has like kind of dark-based abilities, maybe like some kind of shadow damage or something. Is a blade dancer, very agile. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Invis is one thing as a main component. Critical damage, critical strike, backstabs. Like wow rogue or wow subtlety slash assassination. For anyone that knows, well, that's a great example of like how I like my rogues. Um, uh, Sometimes they use bows, sometimes not, but mostly daggers. Daggers, like for me, poison damage is another thing. Shadow damage, shadow-based abilities. Um, what else? What else? I'm trying to draw some like references from other kind of RPGs, but that's basically for me. That's what assassin is, in a nutshell. Just that pure. That's it. Like there's nothing else. That's an assassin. Crouching, waiting for the right time to strike. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like other than WoW. I'm trying to think of other RPGs or other games that really kind of for me do assassin correctly. I think most do for the most part. Like even Path of Exile, I forgot the character's name, but he uses daggers and his abilities are like blink strikes, um, that sort of thing. That's my idea of an assassin. Um, and like if you guys are wondering, okay, Ash, why are you so adamant on not only that idea, but why are you so adamant on not liking the other builds? Because for me, let's bring it up for a second. For me, the reason why I'm so adamant on not wanting to do traps or martial arts build, the reason why I'm not just gonna give like I don't want to just go find like a trap or a martial arts build is because for me, martial arts is basically a monk. It's more of like a monk. I feel like this like for in my like this is my personal opinion. You guys can completely disagree, but for me, I feel like traps and martial arts should have just been a completely different class or just overridden, like just not in part of the assassin kit. Because for me, martial arts, it's more monkey than anything. Sure, like assassins do use their fists, they get a bit physical every once in a while. Um, Maybe it could have even been I don't know like a because they usually work for like potions and pots and uh, um, that sort of thing, like alchemy, slight kind of alchemy, like coating their weapons with poisons or whatnot, or magics. That's kind of cool. Actually, I do like that idea. But for me, martial arts, it's mostly a monkey kind of thing, like a monk. I feel like it's because a lot of physical attacks, a lot of kicks, and I'm pretty sure in like Diablo 3, the monk I think has very similar abilities, like the kicks and whatnot. Some is fine. Like I don't mind some of the um abilities, like Blades of Ice, but for the most part, it's very monk. It's got a very monk aesthetic. It's got a very monk theme and a vibe. If they changed it maybe to more towards Shadow, like Shadow Strike or Shadow Talon or Dark Claw or Fists of, I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe if they change the names to more kind of, but then again, she got Shadow Disciplines. Yeah, like I don't know. But for me, martial arts is very monk. Into like, long story short, it's just like for me, it's more about aesthetic and like the style and the theme. Yeah, so that's the feeling I get. That's why I'm not too excited. But for the final build, um, like Cobra Strike could like because of the lifesteal and stuff, it could be cool. I don't know. It's too martial artsy. Yeah, I don't know. It's more ninja maybe. I don't know. Like I kind of think they are kind. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's but it just doesn't like for that theme for that fantasy. It doesn't do it for me. Traps, on the other hand, traps. Look, assassins, sure, they do use traps. They do have like gadgets, right? They have gadgets. Absolutely, I'm not going to deny that. That's not saying traps are ridiculous. They do have gadgets, but to make it like a primary focus, I'm not a fan of. To make it entire spec, entire build, I'm not a fan. Sure, like a few traps hit, maybe like a one or two they could have put in, in here or something like shadow trap or I don't know, like whatever, like just small crowd control based stuff. It's not unrealistic, but traps for me feel just using traps like and like focusing traps for me is more like a demolitionist or an engineer. I feel like this should have been like demolitionist slash engineer because that's all you're doing. You're just running around throwing traps, and that for me is not that's not an assassin. Like you're more that's more of a demolitionist. Like you're just throwing stuff on the floor, just running around throwing stuff, bombs, traps. That's all you're doing for the most part. Sure, like Blade Sentinel, um, Blade Fury, Blade Shield, like these are blade based. These are more assassiny, but everything else is basically like sentries and stuff. Like sentry, I suppose. Like if Demon Hunter and Diablo 3, it made sense, but I don't know, man. Like this is more demolition slash engineer for me. It's not very assassin at all. So that's another reason why I don't want to get into this, like this spec. Um, yeah, but that's basically my lowdown with why I don't want to get either of these because they just don't feel it. They feel more like other things. And Shadow Disciplines is where it's at. For me, it makes a lot of sense. Claws, burst of speed, fade. We'll get into these into just a little bit actually. But that's like the lowdown behind why um I don't wanna go. I'm so adamant on not going those other sorts of builds. But let's go through the quick talents though. I'm just checking my notes here. Okay, so in regards to the build, um, I thought about a vampire, like an attack, like a vampire, like vampire shadow assassin, a shadow vampire, something like that. Some like one of those, you know what I mean, like a shadow vampire assassin with maybe Cobra Strike. So basically, it's going to be a lot of attack speed, damage, and lifesteal. So that was one build I was thinking of, like just as aside from the build we're going to be putting together. I'm not sure that's viable. Where we just go straight lifesteal. So Cobra Strike might be really good for that. We just get a lot of vitality, become really unkillable, just siphon like the lives of everything. Might be good for boss battles, not so good for maybe for like a density. But it was just an idea. Maybe burst of speed, Kirby Strike, and a build obviously it's life still on gear, and just go like with the theme of um like a shadow vampire, right? But in general, with the build, it's going to be a core focus on shadow disciplines, just in general. Like core focus is shadow discipline, 100%. It's going to be like 80% shadow discipline, 10% martial arts. Actually no. Yeah. Forget traps. We won't be doing. It's going to be like 80% shadow and 20% martial arts for both builds. For the shadow, for for the assassin, we're going to be building together, and then my own on the side potential shadow vampire build that I got in mind. I do like Tiger Strike. I'm thinking significantly for the final build. Dragon Claw maybe this. I think it does a lot. I'm not sure, but it feels like it does a lot of damage. And Cobra Strike basically. Anything else? Not interested. Dragonflight, I'm not a fan. It's too scary. Like you jump in and you just get owned potentially. So for martial arts for this build, for the current build that we're all building together, I'll allow Tiger Strike and Dragon Claw and maybe Cobra Strike for the vampire. So these three. Regards to Shadow Discipline, Shadow Master is a must. This is almost like a bread and butter, where he takes a lot of the aggro. He helps me out, takes the stress off, takes the pressure off, and then the Shadow Master has like access to all those abilities, so CCs, everything that's assassin related. She has access to. So we're absolutely going to commit to Shadow Master. Venom as well. I think you just can't go wrong with the extra damage. I'm not sure. Up for discussion. Up for discussion on that one. Fade. I'm thinking. So I'm thinking maybe we go treachery for the chest. Because you get a chance to cast level 15 treachery per hit. The thing is, it's only a 5% chance, but I'm wondering if it's level 15. You probably and it probably goes long enough until like it probably just recasts before it runs out, even though it's a 5% chance. But if we do go treachery, then we probably won't put as many points into fade is what I'm thinking. But Fade isn't really important because I did some research here while I was like, going through all this. And apparently Fade has a hidden stat for damage reduction per level, I think. Something like that. I'm not sure if it's like 1% per level to a total of 20% damage reduction. So this is huge. So Fade is S tier. We have to one way or another, we're gonna have to get Fade. Not only for the resistance, but it's like it's very powerful. Fade is and it's like it's very assassin. It's very my kind of assassin too. Like it makes sense. Fade, and that's why I love about Shadow Disciplines in general is because it has that theme of assassin that really appeals to me, along with the poison and the Shadow Master as well, like having an illusion. Um, you know, take all the focus away from me. I love these. These things get me excited. And Fade is also another one. So Fade we're definitely gonna go into. Shadow Master, sorry, Shadow Warrior, no need because we've got Shadow Master. Cloak of Shadows, I put too many points, so we're gonna have at least 1 point in this regardless, but 1 point I think is enough just for the crowd control. The crowd control is pretty huge. Not having everything just jump at you or attack you from a distance. So definitely 1 point in Cloak of Shadows. Weapon block, I think we have to I think have at least 10 points into this one because of that 50% chance. I think it only goes up to like a total of 58 when you max it out, so it's probably not worth putting 10 more points into it. But this is like if you're standing still, this blocks everything apparently. From melee, spell, everything. So we definitely need this for survivability. Um Burst of speed, I'm thinking I've only got 3 points right now. I think only one because it's got +2 from all skills. So we're definitely gonna put at least 10 into this. But like once like again, it's we have to figure out whether we want to go fade focus or burst of speed focus because you can't have both at the same time. Unfortunately, I feel like I mean because Shadow Discipline is already so underpowered, right? Apparently, because you don't see any builds. I feel like to bring it, to make it relevant, they could have at least made it so you can have both buffs at a time. But then that might have just worked out better for other builds. I don't know. So we have to decide what we're going to do here. But I think burst of speed we must have is a must-have, but like I said, we need to kind of go over this. Claw Mastery apparently is really good. So Glenn was saying it's really powerful, so definitely I think we just go straight 20 points for this one. Obviously, see Psychic. That's another thing that pisses me off. Like Psychic Hammer. Like what are we? Are we a mentalist now? Are we some kind of wizard? Like Psychic? What? Mind Blast? What? These things annoy me. Like there's like a really the class identity for Assassin is just all over the shop, man. It's all over the place, and I personally, I can't stand it. Like, what are we now? Like, we went from engineer demolitionist to kung fu Bruce Lee monk. to now we're a mentalist. We're like brain power. Yeah, we've got a huge brain and we can just psychically hurt people now. Like make up if it was Shadow like Blast or Shadow Hammer, I'd be like, all right, fair enough. Or Shadow Blast or something. Like if it was Shadow based, if they just changed the name and maybe changed the icon or the theme, I'd be like down with it. But Mind Blast, like, what are you? I don't know, man. What are you doing, Blizzard? It's just you're not using your brain. Like really, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. We did martial arts, yeah, yeah, and then traps. Obviously, nothing trap related. Um, I don't know. I was thinking about like blade shield and stuff, but it's probably not worth investing points into. So just try to keep it clean, as clean and effective as possible. But that's basically the ideology behind the build. Most that's yeah, that's primary focus. Um, it's just working out which one we want to like go with and commit to. um, so our pros and cons for going Shadow Discipline, I think, is going to be mostly we're going to be very survivable. I'm assuming I want to say compared to the other specs, we're going to be a lot more survivable, which is going to be a huge pro for us. The only con I can see is lack of damage because we're not really the scene. I don't know, like the talents aren't like the talents in Shadow Discipline don't feel that strong. I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't know the builds or the synergies of the weapons or like the items. Maybe once we get items, Shadow can be really powerful, like damage wise. But for a fact, it's definitely very defensive. So on the bright side, hopefully we're not gonna die if at all. We're gonna be a lot more survivable compared to other builds. I want to say like that's wishful thinking in regards to going Shadow Discipline. So on the bright side, that might be what's going to work for us. Going as a Shadow Discipline main build. Hopefully, I don't know, but that's what I'm looking forward to. If that's the case, that's fine. Like I said, as long as we get into Bale Hell at a nice smooth non-death rate, I'll take it. I'll take it, and that's kind of like that's like the minimum. If we can achieve that, sweet. Anything more than that is going to be a plus in my book, anyways. Yeah, so that's basically the pro and con for going Shadow Discipline. Um, and so in regards to the schedule, so today's like the last day I'll be playing Diablo 2. So starting from next week, we'll be doing League of Legends because I'm gonna give it a bit of a break because I've been playing this game like a really long time, off YouTube and everything. So I realized with this whole build business, it's gonna go a lot longer than it's gonna take a lot longer than I thought it would. I didn't think Diablo 2 would take this long, but I don't want to half-ass it. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna take a bit of a break because I've been playing for a really long time. Anyways, I'll take a small break. I'm going to do a week of League of Legends, 2 weeks of RuneScape, primarily for the guys that because I've got a bunch of people that want me to play a bunch of different games, so I've got to keep everybody happy. So we'll take a nice small little break, and in the meantime, while we're taking that break, we'll be working on this build anyways as on Discord as I'm taking the break. So um, by the time I get back into Diablo, I would have like I'm hoping by that point we would have had like a nice pretty fleshed out build, and then we can probably just do tweaks. And then once I get back into Diablo after the little break, we can start really just making sure it's all like clean cut, tight knit. So because I've only got one more reset left, I can't waste this reset. We need to get stats, we get the items perfectly planned out, and then when I get back, we can get back into it, reset, farm them items, get the items that we need, get the runes that we need, get whatever it is that we need, and then just try to smash out Hell Diablo. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. To be honest, it's a lot. It's a long and short of it. If you have any questions regarding anything, Discord links, everything's down below. Don't be shy. If this sort of thing excites you, if you want to join me or us on this journey while we try to build, you know, a unique. I want to say, oh no, I want to say unique. This game's been around for 20 years. I'm pretty sure it's been done, but something specific to my kind of what appeals to me and my fantasy. You're more than welcome to. And it's only, I'm honestly, the game kind of put me in a position where I feel like I had to do this. Otherwise, I probably would just continue the way I was. But the game was like, nah, sorry, man. it's not good enough. You're gonna have to get good. You have to come back, do your homework, get good, and then maybe I'll take you seriously. So that's the plan, and hopefully that's gonna be enough to get us through hell, and then we'll be done with that. So I know it's a bit of a bit of a rant video, but if you guys stayed through to the end, I appreciate it. I hope yeah, wow, it's been blank. I hope all works out. I hope it works out. I'll see you guys in the next one. This one was just a quick little update. We'll do whenever there's a significant update in the future. I'll make sure to put it on YouTube so you guys are kind of up to date with how things are progressing, because that's what it's been. Honestly, it's what's I feel like I owe it to you guys to show you what's happening, because so far it's just been it's been very smooth, right? We started from normal, yet progressed along easy peasy, got into Nightmare, progressed along easy peasy, some of the boss route challenge, but now we're actually hit a wall where we need to start planning and doing things differently. So other than the grinding, which I will continue to do after this video, I'll just go back to Nightmare Bale and just get some more XP, or try to get the items that we need, like the insight recipe for the insight recipe and the smoke recipe. But that's basically it. So you guys haven't missed out on anything. It's just been grinding Mephisto, Diablo, and Bale. And yeah, hopefully on the next video we'll be ready. Sorry, the next video will be the build itself. Sorry, I forgot. The next build, so the next video will be the build. Straight up, so you guys will see the build, and then the next video after that hopefully will be us starting Diablo. I hope to see you guys then. Thanks again for hanging. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.